everyone. Today we're going to talk about a really important topic. The question that's been posed ahead of me is, how do we put AI ethics into practice? First, let's consider why this question is so important, right? If we look at the trajectory of human history, we can see that it is littered with examples of trial and error. This is how and why we innovate. We identify problems and then we seek solutions to them. Now, in the process of seeking solutions, we're bound to fail until we find the right outcome. The evolution of both science and technology are no exceptions to this fact. For example, I believe it was in 1989, 114 AT&T centers crashed when a single switch malfunctioned because of some faulty line of code, right? And all of this happened because they were trying to upgrade the AT&T systems to speed up dialing or calling. And in 2017, we've heard the stories of how a self-driving car, Uber car, actually killed a pedestrian. The more that we incorporate technology into society, though, the more prevalent and important these questions become. For example, in functions like human resources, right? So do we really want a program that contains racial or gendered bias to be making hiring decisions on our behalf? Probably not. Now let's first begin by defining AI ethics, because there's a lot of buzz around the word. AI ethics are essentially questions that we form around what we should do with these systems, what we want these systems to do for us, what risks are associated with using the systems, and how we can control or manage the risks. So for any organization or individual or governmental body that is looking to adopt AI, I say start with these three basic questions, spend some time asking and answering them, strategize a plan, put them down, whether in the form of a PowerPoint presentation or a report that's backed up with research, right? This can be really beneficial. The first question is, why are you introducing AI into your organization, right? In this, I would highly recommend, creating a matrix of sort with the risks and benefits, both in the short term and the long term. Now, a lot of people say, yeah, but the only thing we're really concerned with is profit making. So in a world where profit making is the number one priority for your organization, why should you think about the humanitarian risks of adopting the technology? Well, to them, I challenge them and I say, zoom out, take a cosmic perspective. Think of this from a big picture view and see that very often the social costs of adopting the technology can, in fact, lead to have a negative impact on profitability in the long term. So doing that quick risk-benefit analysis at the very beginning, both in the short term and the long term, could actually save a lot of pain in the long term, because you can actually prepare to sort of tackle those risks in the process of adopting the technology. The second question I would ask is, what are you doing to educate people? Now, the number one barrier I find in most organizations that are looking to adopt any sort of emerging technology, but especially AI, is that people are not aware of what the nuanced differences are, for example, between a narrow AI system and a general AI system. This can lead to a lot of fear mongering. It can lead to a lot of issues that you don't necessarily want to be a part of this very exciting venture that your organization is taking of being future ready, right? But if you want to truly and authentically be future ready, you definitely want to build a repository, an educational resource for people to go to so that they can understand what the technology is, what it means for them, and so on. Which is very, very well linked to the third question that I would encourage any organization to ask, which is, what is the role of the human as you adopt this technology? In a post-AI and post-automation world, one of the key concerns that we should rightly be concerned about is, how will we define and measure human value and intelligence in a world where artificial intelligence exists, right? And the reason that this is so important is because AI is the literal duplication of our intelligence, and our intelligence is what sets us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom. So I would say spend a bit of time thinking about what the role of the human being is in this context. Very often this would mean going back to the drawing board and coming up with new job titles or new job functions that can be really productive, efficient, and optimize the use of the technology for your organization. These are three key basic questions that I would encourage anybody to think about in the process of adopting this technology, and that I often think about, because I know that AI is a kind of tech that not only has an impact on business, but actually has existential, ethical, and practical implications for all of us.